Okay, so we have also been working on this week adding vertically, which we call standard algorithm, or as I like to say, the way that we used to add. The good old-fashioned way. Okay, so my numbers aren't lining up very well here. Let me put a space in here, see if that helps. It's a little better. So, we will first add the ones column. Always the ones column first. Okay, so we have, I like to add the numbers that make friendly numbers, which we have 7 plus 4, which would be 11, and then add 9, which would be 20. But I can only have one number in the ones, so I'm going to carry and still make 20, but I'm going to put the 2 up here at the top so I can add it in the tens column. So technically that 2 represents 20 because it's in the tens column. So we have to make sure that it lines up. Okay, and I didn't do this on purpose, but I like how this works because we have 2 plus 8, which equals 10. 16 plus 4 equals 20, so we have 20 again. Okay, so I'm going to put the 0 in the tens column and the 2 up at the top, which means that I actually had 20 tens, which makes 200, which is why I'm able to carry this 2 up to the top of the hundreds column, because I had no extra tens, I had 200. Okay, so 2 comes up here, and now I'm going to add all this over here, and we have 6 100s plus 3 plus 1, which makes 10, and then 2 more, which makes 12 100s. And I'm trying to remind the students, let's put the 12 down here, that technically you can just put, if your kiddo understands it, then you can just put the 1 automatically down here. But it's nice to remember that that 1 would go over here if there were any thousands. Sorry, that looks like an H. And then there's nothing in the thousands column, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it down here. It's nice to think about that and just to double check your work. Okay, so standard algorithm for addition is just when you carry the other number up to the top, but it is good to understand what that represents. So technically, this answer would mean that we have 1,200 ones altogether, or whatever they picture. I tell them I like to picture $1 bills every time I add, or, you know, something that they like, 1,000 pennies, or 1,200, or 1,200 Legos, or whatever. It's always easiest to think of objects, and that way it makes it easier to add. Alright, so standard algorithm in 3rd grade for multiplication. Right now we are only doing, let's say, 24 and then times 9. We are only having one multiplier, and that's it. Times, we'll do 9. Okay, so on this one what we're learning about, just like the way we used to, would be 9 times the ones place, 9 times the tens place. But it's just like addition, multiplication and addition, we reinforce that all the time. Multiplication and addition are similar processes. So 9 fours would be the same as 9 times 4, and in the last video we talked about how if you can't remember that, you could do 10 times 4 minus 4, which is quick 36. So, but I'm going to put the 6 down here, but I have to put the 3 up here, and I'm going to add that. Okay, so that's a sideways addition sign. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 3 would be 21. And like we did up there, you can add the 2 over in the other column, or just write 21, since there's not anything in the hundreds place. Okay, so we have 216. The other thing that I told the students, that if they are ever stuck, it is so good to remember that multiplication is simply repeated addition. So why this works is because you have 24 added 9 times. So if they need to stack up 24 9 times, they're still doing the same thing. They'd be carrying the 3 at the top and getting 216. So some of the students have even started doing it both ways to double check their work, because they haven't learned long division quite yet. Although you're welcome to start introducing that if if your child is to that point where they understand that. And the last thing that we've started, we're going to hone in on this as far as the curriculum is concerned in several weeks. But we've gone ahead and introduced it. That way, they have more time to process it before the 3rd grade STAR test in May. So if we have 715 minus, let's do 19. That way we can, minus 19. That way we can practice borrowing. Okay, so I cannot take away, the hardest thing to remember in 3rd grade is that the top number is what you are taking away from. So I have to take away 19 from 715. I'm going to start with the ones column first, always with the ones column first. And I cannot take away 9 from 5. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots, I can't take away 9 from that. And we're not doing negative numbers yet in 3rd grade. So I cannot take away 9 from 5. So I have to take away a set of 10s from over here in the 10s column. That leaves me with nothing here. So now I have 0 there. And some students like to go ahead and cross off the 5 and write a 15, so it's easier to see, especially when the numbers are this squished. But you can just put the 1 next to it, and that's 15. So, can I take away 9 from 15? Yes, I can. And that would be 6. Oh my goodness. Now I cannot take away 1 from 0, because if I have nothing, I can't take 1 away from it. So, I'm going to cross this off and make it a 6. And I'm going to take one of those sets of hundreds and bring it over here, which means I have now 10 tens, which equals 100. Now I can take away 1 set of 10s from 10 sets of 10s, and I have 9 sets of 10 down here. And then I have nothing in the hundreds column, so I can leave that 6 here and bring it down. 696. Again, our curriculum will go over this more in a few weeks, but I want them to get used to borrowing. And since this is the way us parents used to do it when we were younger, reinforcing this process, especially if you're doing a budget at home or a grocery bill or anything like that, it is great to have them work with those numbers and just get better at it. And that's it. So in the math world and on the STAR test, they will use the phrase, that's a horrible circle, but we'll use the phrase standard algorithm for them to have that hint to set up these problems. So if they ever say that at home, that's what they're talking about. The standard algorithm is just the old-fashioned way of doing things. So, thanks so much, and we will see you all later. Let me know how I can help your kiddos. Or students, if you are the one watching this, let me know how I can help you if there's any of this that is not making sense yet. We'll see you later.